Herald house where I am standing at this moment. It has been completely sealed. The fourth floor, rather, has been sealed, which belongs to the Young Indian.
You are treating this institution, this party, these leaders as terrorists.
ये प्रतिशोध की राजनीति, ये धमकी की राजनीति।
You're watching News Epicenter with me, Maria Shakil. The Congress party has been jolted once again in the National Herald case after the Enforcement Directorate sealed the office of Young Indian. As per the agency, it was sealed because no one was available in the office and the ED agents were not able to complete the search. The agency has sealed the premises so that searches can be conducted in the presence of office bearers. Summons have been sent to the principal officer, who is Congress leader Mallikarjun Kharge, to get the search concluded. The agency says that as and when the authorized person presents himself for concluding the search, the seal will be lifted. This comes just days after Rahul and Sonia Gandhi were grilled by the agency, which is looking into the suspected misuse of party funds to take over Associated Journals through Young Indian, which resulted in the acquisition of all immovable properties of AJL as well. BJP leader Subramaniam Swamy, who is the main petitioner in the case, claims that by acquiring AJL through Young Indian, the Gandhis acquired property is worth several hundred crores owned by AJL in cities such as Mumbai, Lucknow, Patna, Delhi and Panchkula, including the 6-story Herald house at Bahadur Shah Zafar Marg. The Congress mobilized the top leadership to take on the centre, calling the sealing drive vendetta politics, claiming the agency is being used to harass the party in the absence of concrete proof. The Congress will raise an adjournment notice over this tomorrow in Parliament. But has this flashpoint been triggered by the inability of the Congress to properly cooperate with the agency, which prompted the sealing drive? Or is this, as the Congress alleges, an intimidation tactic? Joining me on the show, Sambit Patra, national spokesperson of the BJP. We have Radhika Khera from the Congress. Radhika Khera, if you look at what has been pasted outside the office, they are essentially saying that it was to complete the entire search process, and the moment that process is completed, this entire sealing will be lifted. Then why is the Congress alleging or indulging, I would say, in fear-mongering?
Who is indulging in fear-mongering? We are not the ones who are indulging in fear-mongering. We are just putting across to the nation and showing to the nation that we are being led today by a government which is so scared. And I will repeat it again. The Modi government is extremely scared. And these are just the characteristics of a scared ruler. कहते हैं ना, एक डरे हुए शासक की निशानी है, the way he is behaving. Why are there platoons outside Sonia Gandhi ji's house? Why are there platoons outside Rahul Gandhi ji's house? Rahul Gandhi ji was not even in Delhi. Why has AICC been sealed? Why has the road of Akbar Road been sealed from both ends? No one can go, no one can come. Why? What is the government so scared of?
Radhika,
what was the Congress
specifically
going to do?
about
Just a march
the search,
to
summons have been sent to Congress leader Mallikarjun Kharge to get the search concluded. And the moment that search is concluded, seal will be lifted. This is a process that is followed. You have got no relief from the courts either. If I were to look at the court observations, which have been pretty harsh on the Gandhis, then why should this be seen as vendetta?
It will, again, I will repeat myself. If there is a notice which has been sent to Kharge ji, he will go as per the notice. He will abide by the law. When did Rahul Gandhi ji and Sonia Gandhi ji not follow law? Please tell me that. Over 200 questions were answered. Over 50 hours of questioning were joined. At this age also, despite being sick, she went and joined and cooperated completely with the ED. What I am asking is, and I want to know from the government, what are they so scared of that platoons had to be placed outside in different uniforms, outside Sonia ji's house, outside Rahul ji's house?
Please respond.
Why was AICC, the Congress office blocked?
In fact, Jairam Ramesh has tweeted that this is about some kind of sealing of the Congress office. There is massive police presence outside Congress office. If search was happening and the ED had sealed the office of young Indian, then what was the need of this entire police presence outside Congress headquarters?
See, Maria, first and foremost, as far as National Herald case, the ongoing interrogation, the ongoing raids, etc. are concerned, remember there were a battery of lawyers today in the Congress office. They chose to hold press conferences. The same Congress party and their battery of lawyers, they are quite capable of knocking at the doors of the Supreme Court even in the middle of night for terrorists and getting the doors of the Supreme Court opened. Had there been merit in whatever argument they are placing in the press conferences, probably these lawyers of the Congress party would have rushed to the Supreme Court saying that, my lord, look, whatever is happening because we have a dictatorial government in the center. They're so scared that they're trying to intimidate the Gandhis and the law is in our favor. So please do us the favor of stopping this raid and in fact opening up the seal. But none of them rushed to the court. Why? Because they had done so in the past. Remember, to the Patiala House Court, from Patiala House Court to the Delhi High Court, from Delhi High Court to the Supreme Court, the topmost lawyers of the Congress party had said that let's quash the case because the case does not hold any water. What did the Delhi High Court said? The Delhi High Court in fact went ahead to say that this was almost criminality on part of accused number 1 Sonia Gandhi and accused number 2 Rahul Gandhi, to which they again rushed to Supreme Court saying that, my lords, please quash the case. The Supreme Court categorically mentioned, no, we see merit in the case, you have to face the trial. And well, yes, you may be the president of the Congress party, you may be the former president of the Congress party, but trial you have to face. And as far as why the police presence was present in front of the residences of Sonia and Rahul Gandhi, well, in the past we had seen that people from the party had accumulated in the streets, trying to burn vehicles, trying to burn tires, etc. And the law had gone for a toss. Then the question that the media had asked of the Delhi police, why was the Delhi police not able to control the law and order situation on the streets? That's why, preempting probably that the situation may go out of hand, the Delhi police might have extended its security cover so that the people and the houses also, I mean Sonia ji's residence, Rahul ji's residence, do not meet with any untoward incidents. Why do they feel that Sonia ji and Rahul ji were to be arrested? Don't they believe in the judicial process of this country?
Radhika, again the question is of fear mongering. Why this fear?
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead. Yes, you can be heard. Go ahead. I'll try and fix that line with Radhika Khera. Sambit Patra, you know, this charge that is coming from Congress party, that is not only coming from one opposition party, but it is coming from Aam Aadmi Party, the Trinamool Congress. They say that the BJP almost has gone on some kind of an overdrive in its use of investigating agencies or misuse of investigating agencies.
See, Maria, in fact, let's keep everything aside. Let all the technicalities be put into a bean. Let's just go by what the optics say. I mean, forget about what the Bharatiya Janata Party tweets, etc. The optics which has been passed by the media, which is the fourth wing of democracy, by your channel and other channels, shows heaps and bundles of caches lying in the houses of these politicians and their aides. So what are we supposed to do? Not to speak about these corruption cases, not to speak about these heaps of money that we find just because it belongs to certain politicians? Of course. I mean, there has been a narrative in this country, questions have been asked in this country as to what is the agencies doing, what are the agencies doing, why aren't they in fact catching hold of the politicians who are so blatantly corrupt? Has the court given any kind of long rope to these politicians? Has the court in fact let them off the hook? Of course not. Remember, Mr. Parth Chatterjee or be it Satyendra Jain, all these people went to the court pleading they were not guilty, they were not corrupt. But the court said nothing doing, you have to face the custodial charges, you have to go to custody. Today Satyendra Jain is in jail. Today Parth Chatterjee is in jail. They have to, Sanjay Raut is in custody. Why? At least if you don't believe the Bharatiya Janata Party, you have political reasons for that. But the courts of this country,
Radhika,
they are functioning without any
Radhika,
interruption.
again the question here is that if the Congress party has nothing to hide, then why this fear? If it is one floor which is being sealed only for search, and the moment the search is conducted and through in the presence of a senior officer, which is essentially Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge, then the seal will be removed. Then why this entire charge of vendetta politics? Why this move now that the Congress will be moving adjournment notices in Parliament over the ED action?
First of all, the fear is on the other side. Like I said, we have a scared government, a scared, frustrated political regime, which is only targeting the opposition. Anyone who questions the government on price rise, you question them ki bhai sahab, why is CNG more expensive than petrol and diesel in Uttar Pradesh? Why are food items, roti, dal, sabzi, tel, why are they expensive? Why are everything so expensive? Why are you not able to control the economy? Why is there joblessness? You will be sent ED notices and you will be sent ED CBI. Has anyone ever sent any agency to Himanta Biswa Sarma? Who is Himanta Biswa Sarma? He was a corrupt politician according to Amit Shah Saab in 2016. But as soon as he joined their party, he has done his Ganga Snan, all paap has been washed off. And now there is no need of investigation because Swayam Amit Shah Saab and Modi ji have declared him as non-corrupt and he is their chief minister. Has anyone ever said any agency or any inquiry has been done to find out who was actually hosting those MLAs who were picked up from Maharashtra, taken to Gujarat? From Gujarat, they were taken to Assam, from Assam to Goa, and then back to Mumbai. Who was paying for all that? Was the government paying? Was it the taxpayers' money like you and me? Or was it someone on the individual capacity? Did any ED reach them? 3 Congress MLAs who were caught with cash in Jharkhand. Has any inquiry been done on that? The Congress has suspended those MLAs and we have written, the other MLAs have written to the agencies and to the police stating that they have been offered 10 crore
the question
per
then
MLA.
Is
that cash, where did that come from?
So you're
and there is evidence that Himanta Biswa Sarma is responsible
you're bringing
for it.
in all other aspects. So as far as National Herald case is concerned, you don't see this as targeting because the Delhi High Court in 2014 had said that is YIL, Young Indian Limited, indeed appeared to be a sham or a cloak to convert public money to personal use as per the Financial Express. That's what it said. My question then to you is that while you talk about what the Jharkhand MLAs who are now who were of the Congress party suspended, or what happened in Maharashtra, those Shiv Sena MLAs who switched sides, they were part of your alliance. This is Congress MLAs that you're talking about in the context of Jharkhand. It's about your own house in order. Is the house in order?
No, it is. See, I will again repeat myself. This government is such a scared government that a scared Shasak is only trying to scare other people. That's the way a scared man behaves. Ki samne wale ko darao. That is normal human psychology.
And I was just listening a few minutes back to Mitch. आप क्यों कांग्रेस को डरा रहे हैं? आप क्यों TMC को डरा रहे हैं? और आप क्यों आम आदमी पार्टी को डरा रहे
हैं? Maria, astonishingly, first the Congress party should hold a plenary session to decide whether we are dictators, whether we are dictators or whether we are scared people. I mean, remember, from morning till evening, these people keep on saying that we are dictators, we are not scared of anyone, we are trying to scare others, we are trying to take the life out of others. But here we have a Congress spokesperson who is saying that it's the Bharatiya Janata Party which is scared, the Prime Minister is scared, our government is scared. So first they have to decide, either we are dictators or we are the scared lot, number one. Number two, and very importantly, they have talked about roti, dal, sabji, everything, but they have not talked about what the Delhi High Court had to say about the National Herald case. They have talked about everything as to who is scared and what is the degree of scare, but they have not talked about what the Supreme Court had to say about the National Herald case. And here, look, I have a cutting from the Economic Times. The National Herald case, Supreme Court lets IT department reopen Rahul and Sonia Gandhi's tax filings, December 5, 2018. And remember why? Because in 2010, Rahul Gandhi misled in his affidavit during the elections that he was not a director in any company, despite the fact that he was one of the functioning directors of Young India. And then later the Income Tax Department found that Rahul Gandhi had to pay amounts to the tune of 154 crore, not just 68 lakh, as Mr. Rahul Gandhi has said. So notices were issued, to which Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi rushed to the courts, to the lower court, then the High Court and the Supreme Court, and none gave them relief, saying that you have to face the law of the land. So please talk about the specifics of this case. Why are you the Queen Victoria and the Prince Charming that you will not be questioned by the law of the land? Just because you ruled this country for the last 70 years, you are entitled to dacoity and you will not be questioned by the agencies of this country.
Okay.
Why this sense of entitlement is my question.
Okay. Radhika, if Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi, as you said, cooperated with the agency and appeared before the agency, Rahul Gandhi was questioned over 5 days and Mrs. Gandhi as well. The larger question is, you saw that as law taking its course. Then this should be also seen as the same. Why that satyagraha in the first place and then this reaction which appears to be certainly disproportionate?
Why not a satyagraha? That has been a part of our country's tradition. That is how we even got independence.
But satyagraha for Gandhis.
Is there a problem in...
This is a satyagraha for the Gandhis, which is not the same as the satyagraha which the Congress did and the freedom fighters did for independence.
Why cannot a party and its workers fight and stand up and do satyagraha for its leadership? Why? Is there a rule? We cannot, when we are saying, and I will repeatedly say this, if the Congress party, the Congress leaders are not scared, the Gandhi family is not scared of the Bharatiya Janata Party. It is the Bharatiya Janata Party who is scared of us because we continue to raise the voice of the people and bring out their misdoings. And I will again say this, we have joined every investigation and cooperated. But the reason that the questions are being asked today is the way ek chhag nahi banai gayi hai AICC ke bahar, the way the platoons are standing. If you have sealed the office of Young India, if you have sealed any office, we are abiding by the law. Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge ji will join the investigation as far as all our leaders have been joining the investigation. No one has run away from investigation. So what is this that they're trying to create? They're trying to show to the world that no one is joining the investigation. Mr. Sambit Patra was reading out a list ki court ne ye kaha, court ne wo kaha. I want to ask Mr. Patra, what action and what agency have you sent to Mr. Raman Singh and his son, whose name is in Panama Papers? What action have you taken against the Naan Ghotala? What actions have you taken against the paper scam in Madhya Pradesh? What actions have you taken against your former Chief Minister Vijay Rupani from Gujarat, who was accused of crores and crores and hundreds of
Sambit
crores of
Patra,
scams?
this is the charge that is, again, that is not coming only from the Congress,
CBI, no ED.
but also from the TMC and Aam Aadmi Party, that whosoever from opposition joins the BJP, it is almost like that the BJP becomes some kind of washing machine and you get cleaned up of all the charges of corruption that may be there against you.
Maria, let me put you a question over here. I mean, Maria, you follow the channels, you follow the news ardently. Tell me, how many times the Congress party has conducted a press conference regarding any of the corrupt deals of the Bharatiya Janata Party recently? I mean, they were talking about Mr. Raman Singh. With all due respect, they have a government in Chhattisgarh. The Congress has their own government in Chhattisgarh. Has the Congress government's Chhattisgarh ACB unit, the Anti-Corruption Bureau unit, filed any charge against Mr. Raman Singh? Have they conducted a single press conference against Mr. Raman Singh that, look, this is what he has done and our ACB has filed a case? They have not filed a case. They were talking about Hemanta Biswa Sarma. Hemanta Biswa Sarma, when in 2016 was in Congress party, as our panelist has said, there was a Congress government there. When he came to BJP, there was a Congress government in Assam. Why did you not act against him then? You were talking about other leaders in Karnataka, etc., etc. You had a government in Karnataka, a Congress government. Did you act against any of the BJP leader? If you did not have, you filed cases, they did not stand the test of time, they did not stand the test of legality. So you had the government. Are we supposed to file cases in Chhattisgarh? You have a government, do it. As far as Vyapam is concerned, you went to Supreme Court. Supreme Court said nothing doing. So all this has stood the test of time, stood the test of legality. Okay. Now, for God's sake, please stand the test of legality in your case as well.
Okay. 30 seconds to you, Radhika, and then I end this discussion.
Mr. Patra, your own Himachal Pradesh state president during the corona crisis had to step down because he was accused and he was a part of the PPE kit ghotala. What action have you taken against him? Himachal Pradesh has your government, the center is your government. Did you do any questioning? Because he's a BJP leader, everything is allowed. And I will repeat, what action have you taken against Mr. Rupani? Should I list out the list of scams of Mr. Vijay Rupani from giving out crores and crores?
हम तो चोर हैं मगर बाकी भी चोर थे, उनको क्यों छोड़ा है?
Sir, I did not, Mr. Patra, I did not interrupt when you were speaking. Have the courtesy and have the decency to listen. If you are on the right, you will let me speak and not interject in between. You spoke in your turn. That So let me complete. इतना घमंड अच्छा नहीं है, रावण का भी नहीं चला था और आप लोगों का भी नहीं चलेगा. Mark my words.
चलिए राधिका जी,
कौन घमंड कर रहा है? घमंड तो आप लोग कर रहे हैं.
घमंड आपका ही है बीच बीच में बोल के. Let me complete. I will come back again to the point.
अरे क्यों घमंड है? आप बोलिए ना. I'm talking on point.
If there is a charge against any of your
you're not a small
political
child that you have to
opponents in those states,
keep on coming
why
in between
action
when I'm
was not
talking.
taken against them?
I will again repeat.
See,
Panama Papers
Maria,
is a huge,
I heard
huge
the
scam.
question. The only so has the ACB of Chhattisgarh registered a case against Raman Singh? Has it?
So is there?
Why? If you have all the facts of if you have all the facts against Raman Singh, so who prevents the government there in Chhattisgarh to take action? Why don't you do that? I mean, the question is, rhetorics is not going to help. I mean, over here, what she has accepted is that logic
So
is,
you are saying,
we have plundered, we have looted, law should take its course. But what about the other ones who have done corruption?
All right.
Logically, they have accepted that they are the corrupt ones.
All right. Samit Patra, Radhika Khera, really appreciate your time. Let me get a quick wrap of this case and particularly the search from Ashish Merishi, who tracks Enforcement Directorate for us. Ashish, I'm going to try and understand from you. After questioning, if there is a search of this nature that happens, what exactly is ED looking for?
So let me clarify, because there are two aspects to the entire story, Maria. The first aspect is that there were certain searches which were conducted yesterday. There are certain companies that have been searched, which are, the Enforcement Directorate in fact, they're not giving any details about these companies as of now. But to my understanding, these companies are basically companies which basically helped in purchase of shares just at the time when the entire deal of National Herald or Associated Journal was happening with Young Indians. So that is one aspect. Now, I have just failed to understand the reason why there is so much of hue and cry as of today. Why? The search process was not completed. That office, that room has been sealed. That is all. Young India has a small office. Young Indian has a small office in the building of Herald House. That office was not occupied by anybody. Yes. So it was not occupied by anyone. When the Enforcement Directorate team reached, there was no occupant there. So they left a message today that this office cannot, or this room cannot, this building cannot be opened until and unless the occupant comes. So here, Mallikarjuna Kharge, who is the current principal officer, he's already been told by the Enforcement Directorate that we would like to search this premises and in your presence. So I have just failed to understand
why this hue and cry when it is a normal search process.
Why there is so much of hue and cry? Yeah, in fact, it is basically the process of law. If a premises needs to be searched and there is a search warrant against that premises, and that there is no occupant or there is nobody there, then obviously the presence of somebody is required. Whether it is the owner or whether it is whoever is occupying that place, that person needs to be there. So here, Mallikarjuna Kharge has been asked to join the investigation, and once the search is completed, then obviously that notice will be removed.
All right. Ashish Merishi, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us. Shifting focus to our second topic on News Epicenter, this entire political culture of freebies to woo voters that actually played out in the Apex Court today.
रेवड़ी कल्चर वाले कभी आपके लिए नए एक्सप्रेसवे नहीं बनाएंगे, नए एयरपोर्ट या डिफेंस कॉरिडोर नहीं बनवाएंगे।
वास्तविकता ये है कि कई सारी ऐसी गैर जिम्मेवारी इस देश में पार्टियां हैं जो चुनाव के पहले जनता को बहलाने के लिए, जनता को बरगलाने के लिए कुछ वादे रखते हैं।
There There was a debate in the top court today over the political culture of freebies to woo voters. The Supreme Court was hearing a plea which argued that the distribution of irrational freebies amounts to bribery, calling it a political tactic used to unduly influence voters. The plea also argued that freebies vitiate free and fair elections. The centre argued in court that freebies will lead to economic disaster and distort the decision of the voter. The centre argued further that the Election Commission must examine the issue. The Apex Court then presented its observations, saying there is a need for an expert body to frame regulations for freebies. National institutions must brainstorm the issue, and parties must give suggestions for the composition of an expert panel. The Supreme Court said that freebies have a significant impact on the economy, adding that the situation has been created due to the inaction of the Election Commission. The top court also said that no political party will oppose freebies and Parliament may be unable to effectively debate the matter, while the focus must be on the taxpayers and the economy. Now, this comes just 2 weeks after Prime Minister Modi warned citizens about revelry culture, saying it hampers the Vikas drive of the nation. Stepping into the debate, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal questioned the timing of the BJP stand in the Supreme Court, calling it purely political and lip service in connection to the economic woes the nation is facing. But this issue is indicative of a larger trend in India, where bad economics certainly is good politics. Welfare schemes of state governments tops over 1 trillion rupees. The largest schemes are from Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh and West Bengal. Schemes worth 2,67,000 crores are from Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh and West Bengal alone. The largest rise in subsidies has been in Jharkhand, Kerala, Orissa, Telangana and Uttar Pradesh, while Gujarat, Punjab and Chhattisgarh spend 10% of the state revenue on subsidies. The question remains, is it time to wake up to the economic realities of this culture that is so entrenched in Indian politics? Charu Pragya, spokesperson of the BJP, is joining me live. Gaurav Pandhi, representing the Congress. We also have Priyanka Kakkar of the Aam Aadmi Party. Priyanka Kakkar, the Apex Court is of the opinion that all political parties and various stakeholders must come together. Will the Aam Aadmi Party agree for a discussion of this nature? Because you certainly top the list of parties that has been indulging in this kind of promise.
Maria, I disagree with the last statement, and why I say that is, Maria, because there are genuine welfare schemes and then there are populist announcements. When you promise a 15 lakh in the account, for example, that disrupts the level playing field and it's a populist announcement. But when you end up giving what the Constitution promises, whether it is free education, free water, that would be a welfare scheme which helps our citizens and make their lives easier. Now, the BJP, Maria, clearly does not have any economic sense. And that is why it has sold almost all of our national assets, and even then incurred a debt of 60,000 crores compared to Delhi.
Can I say something in the context of Punjab? In Punjab,
it's been
the Aam Aadmi Party promised 1,000 rupees per month to every adult woman in the state. That would cost the exchequer 1,600 crores in a state which is debt-ridden. The women are yet to get that 1,000 rupees.
Since you bring up Punjab, we've already implemented the free electricity, 300 unit of electricity in Punjab. Okay. The other will also be implemented. It's been about, say, 115 days since we came to power. And yet we were able to return 5,000 crore debts. And it's not difficult if you have good economic sense and the political will to empower people.
Okay, Charu Pragya,
what is happening, for example,
the BJP played the same card in UP. And I would agree with the Apex Court when they say clearly that no political party would be opposing freebies because every party does freebies.
No. Maria, there's a slight difference. Freebie is when you...
Okay, that's a question to Charu Pragya. Yes.
Maria, let me please finish.
Maria.
Yes. Go ahead, Charu.
I think audible to you.
Yes, go ahead.
So first of all, we have to make a very clear distinction between Garib Kalyan Yojana yojnas which are made for the benefit of the upliftment of the poorest of the poor in our country, and political parties who are only promising freebies as an election promise. And what the BJP does is more long term. See, we are trying to make sure that the basic necessities of the poor people's lives are taken care of. Giving somebody food to eat cannot be called a freebie, whereas giving everybody a discount on electricity bills, it does not matter whether they can pay for it or not. That definitely is a freebie, and more so when it is given as an election promise. Vote for me and I will give you free electricity. Now that is what a freebie amounts to. A freebie is not when the world is suffering in a pandemic. And
Charu can say that because they're not even able to provide 100% electricity.
No, absolutely not. See, Priyanka, I cannot see you, and I'll appreciate you not speaking in between when I'm having my say. We have actually changed the electrical circuit of this country, and anybody who follows politics and social policies will know that. We have electrified every single village in this country, which was never done previously.
Again, it's misinformation. I must stop her. I must intervene because it is misinformation.
What kind of debates you go on.
They consider 10%
where people want to speak over other people.
Okay, Charu, one moment. Priyanka and Charu, listen to me. Okay, we can have a very civilized debate here. That's
yes,
what I do on my show. One moment, Charu, just hold on to your thoughts. We'll try and connect. Okay, you're back with us. Charu Pragya, my question to you is, when the BJP talks about freebies, then it is food security. When other political parties talk about ration, then it is not food security. Then it becomes anti-welfareism. Then it becomes a populist measure.
No, and Maria, I am not talking about food. I am talking about other promises which are made. AIDMK, what kind of promises are made by AIDMK? Aam Aadmi Party, they want to base their entire...
AIDMK is your ally. You are saying that is not a genuine welfare measure, which is meant for vulnerable section. And what opposition does is just populism. That is something that I am not convinced about. We'll try and fix that line with Charu Pragya in just a bit. Gaurav Pandey, when you went ahead and announced Nyay, that was again the same freebie culture that we keep talking about.
It's not, Maria. It's absolutely not. We need to understand what exactly when we say freebies. If it is economic support to the people, those who are in need, they are not freebies. That's the duty of the government to provide a level support to the people so that they can be level playing field, right? So when you say that Nyay, it doesn't fall into the category of freebies. Freebies is what the government, this current government has been. For example, 2 years ago, again we proposed Nyay in 2020 after the lockdown during COVID. That there should be Nyay so that people, the government should put money into the hands of the people so that they can spend. And
what
they
is
can,
your government in Chhattisgarh doing? They are indulging in freebies.
However, it's not. However, what the government did, they went ahead and reduced the corporate tax. That's freebies. When people, those who already have enough, and you're wanting to reduce their burden, that is you would call freebies. Or the fake promises that the BJP has been making during the elections, and also the Aam Aadmi Party, as you very well mentioned in the beginning.
There is not a single promise that we made and didn't deliver.
Right now, right now as we speak, right? So all of us might be able to refill our LPG bottles at the current prices. We might be struggling to do so. However, there are more than 2 crore people, those who have not been able to refill their gas cylinders. Just imagine. So they are the people, they need subsidies. The government should provide them the subsidies. And then you cannot call them the freebies.
No. Gaurav, the problem with that argument is that none of you are ready to actually make this a talking point and ensure that the Election Commission, various stakeholders become a part of it. Because what is being promised here is irrational freebies from public fund before election, duly in fact, which influences voters, completely disturbs level playing field, shakes roots of free and fair election, and completely vitiates the entire process. And all political parties indulge in it.
Maria,
be it the Congress or the BJP or the Aam Aadmi Party. This is distribution of private goods, almost services which are happening in this country. Can India afford it?
Maria, see, freebies again. I want to add here. Freebies is when you make irrelevant promises in your election speeches.
You did
there,
it with
I believe that election.
Gaurav, you did it with Nyay. The
It's
Congress
not
did it with
irrelevant.
Nyay.
It is not
Aam Aadmi
irrelevant.
Party
See,
has done it, so has the BJP
no,
done.
Maria, see, it has been implemented in Chhattisgarh and it's a successful model.
Okay.
Today, Chhattisgarh has the lowest.
So the same argument can be made by the Aam Aadmi Party that they have a Delhi model which worked, so they are hopeful that even the Punjab model will work. Charu, what is the problem with the Punjab model then? If they have a successful Delhi model?
Yeah, so Maria, how successful the Delhi model is, that's highly debatable, because you cannot have a state which is going into debt. You cannot have a state that continuously wants to borrow.
Okay, Priyanka, one moment. Let her finish. Yes, Charu,
No,
go ahead.
Okay. Maria, I don't understand what is the Aam Aadmi Party spokesperson's problem. I
Go
refuse
ahead.
to be in an
Go ahead.
debate like this.
Quickly.
So
Misinformation troubles me.
Can you please wait for your turn to speak?
Sure,
Can you please wait for your turn to speak,
Yes,
or your party
Charu,
doesn't
make
teach
your point.
you?
Yeah.
Yeah, but Maria, make sure she doesn't interrupt. So what I'm trying to say is, if your government is driving a state further and further into debt, and then you go back to the center repeatedly and ask for more money, which Aam Aadmi Party is infamous for doing, that is not the way you are supposed to create welfare schemes. When you create a welfare scheme, you're supposed to take into account your income as a government and your expenditure as a government. Now, Aam Aadmi Party can have a lot of money they can spend on advertisements, but at the same time, for every other thing, they want to come back to the center and ask for money. Punjab is already doing that. They've just come to power and they're already doing that in Punjab. So again, even when you look at Delhi, the Delhi Jal Board, numbers are speaking against them. A department which was always in profit is today in loss. And that is thanks to the unreasonable freebies handed out by the Aam Aadmi Party government. And it's not just unreasonable freebies. Even in spite of that, Delhi people are struggling to get clean water. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to draw a clear distinction between ensuring the citizens of our country are well fed and living comfortably versus a political party which promises.
Can I remind you of what is happening in Madhya Pradesh?
Let me also please.
No, one moment. Can I remind you of what is happening in Madhya Pradesh, a state which is governed by the BJP for over 20 years, which along with Andhra Pradesh and West Bengal have schemes worth 2,67,000 crores.
Please don't forget Uttar Pradesh as well.
No, and in Uttar Pradesh, what is happening? What is happening in Uttar Pradesh is not like a blanket statement which is given by the government saying that it doesn't matter if you can pay, you cannot pay. Every single welfare scheme is very careful. You cannot own land. You are not the owner of a four-wheeler or a two-wheeler. There are a lot of checklists to that. It is not just randomly handed out to every apparent voter which comes your way.
So, Priyanka, basically what Charu is saying is that their welfare scheme is not populist because it's very well thought out, while what Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress does is pure doling out, freebies which are meaningless.
Maria,
Absolutely not. See, when we started food security was introduced by the Congress government.
Priyanka will speak.
Whether the BJP spokesperson is actually ill-informed or intentionally misleading and misinforming the public.
Can you please tell me?
We are dealing with a party like BJP, which is clearly does not have any economic sense. This is a party which has sold all of its national assets and incurred a debt of 60,000 crores still. Delhi is the only state which, according to the CAG report, is also in revenue surplus. This despite the fact that we have a budget of 25% for education, over 15% for health, we provide free bus service to our female passengers, we give the cheapest electricity in all of India. The VAT prices are the lowest in all of India. We provide things that the Constitution mandates and not jumlebazi. We don't come only around election to give you a cylinder. We don't come around election to give you a laptop. We don't come around election to give you a scooty. We are doing things which are constitutionally mandated of a welfare state.
Can I please come in, Maria? Maria, now that she's done shouting, I just want to make one
thing
clear.
BJP has incurred a
Okay, Congress wants to make a point. Yes, Gaurav, come in. Yes, Gaurav.
Party spokesperson said that Delhi is the only state. No, Delhi is not the only state. There are many states in India which are revenue surplus, and Delhi has been revenue surplus since last last 16 to
want to
17
take the
years.
credit, I
And
knew
freebies,
it.
and let me
You
tell
will-
you,
you
freebies
will
are
talk about late
free-
Sheila Dikshit,
freebies.
yes.
No, and freebies are, if we talk about the current government in Punjab or the central government by the Modi government, freebies are when you provide, you waste money in security and providing free security to Arvind Kejriwal and calling him the convener of our Punjab. Arvind Kejriwal.
Please
Arvind
stop
Kejriwal already has
misinformation.
Arvind
This was
Kejriwal
a
already
fake
has.
article and now short spread
And
by
then,
Congress.
Then freebies
Can I
when you
come in,
spend
Maria?
8,000 crores in your planes, right? By Prime Minister Modi. Freebies are when you build a palace for yourself and for a fancy workplace for the
Maria, can I
member of parliament when there is one already that exists.
Can I?
When
Okay,
you put-
I
when you
think
spend-
it's a very
First of all,
skewed
that's
idea
not-
of what
So
exactly has been said by
Yeah,
the court.
exactly.
And
I
I
think-
want,
I don't think Rahul gets
I'm
that.
going to take
Can I-
closing comments
So
from
there
all of
are
you. One
freebies.
moment.
No,
I'm
there
going
are
to take
freebies
closing
to
comments
the-
from
to
all
the-
of you. I'm going to take closing comments from all of you. The Supreme Court has said that an expert body consisting of various stakeholders, which includes Niti Aayog, Finance Commission, Law Commission, RBI, members of ruling and opposition parties, must come together. My question is, from all of you, beginning with you, Charu Pragya, is the BJP open to the idea of having this discussion? Because it is the need of the hour.
Yes, absolutely, Maria. And our Prime Minister has said that this freebie culture is going to make our democracy hollow. That is not how it should exist. I want to make another point. See, when you are saying, and the AAP spokesperson was so proudly saying that women get to travel free by bus. Now, what sort of a distinction is that? Every person who's capable of paying should be happy to pay. Why not make it free for senior citizens or students for
It's not
that matter?
mandatorily
Why?
free.
Oh my God!
It is not
I-
mandatorily
you
free.
have-
You can pay.
You have some. You have.
Give
some
up your
sort of-
electricity subsidy.
No,
You should
no.
give it up tomorrow. It is not mandatory. Give it
You
up
know,
tomorrow.
I think you have some sort of a problem, Priyanka. You should learn to speak when it is your turn to speak. This is not how
You
a
should learn to
reasonable
speak
debate
truthfully.
happens.
I will not have to interrupt.
Priyanka,
but then
I
you are
asked
very
a
rude,
question to
Priyanka.
her. Let her
You are-
respond, then
you
I'll
are
bring you
so-
in.
I think you've got to be the most rudest spokesperson
Okay,
I've
no
ever come across.
personal,
Keep it to
no
yourself.
Bring
personal
relevant
comments.
to your party.
No personal
Maria,
comments.
Maria,
Charu,
you are
30
right.
seconds. Let's be
Maria,
civil.
she does
Please,
not-
go ahead.
no,
Huh.
She has to be either put on mute. I
Okay,
refuse to
Charu,
be on
make your
shut up.
point. Yeah.
So this is actually a terrible version of whatever they are saying. And as for the Congress, now they are willing to give out nyay, and yet the people of this country did not vote
Fine.
them into power. More importantly, when they talk about a plane or a parliament, well, members of your party will also be sitting in that parliament. Where do you suppose they're going to go
Okay,
when
Gaurav.
delimitation happens next
Gaurav,
time?
is the Congress
All
open to
your-
discussion?
Absolutely, Maria. When it comes to making irrelevant, illogical promises by the political parties, yes, they should. There's a discussion that should happen. And I want to add one thing here. In 2013, during Rajasthan Assembly elections, our leader Rahul Gandhi made an announcement in Rajasthan that we should be moving towards providing, support and medical support to the people by providing free medicines. People did not vote for us. We were voted out. We sat in the opposition for 5 years, and we came. And then it's not that, just you roll out without thinking. There has to be a framework. The government worked on it. And today, this year it was launched. And today, Rajasthan is the only state providing more than 1,700 free medicines to the needy, to the people, those who need that
So
support.
same argument
Not
is given
just
by
to,
the
blatantly
BJP
everyone.
that when they provided food to the poorest of the poor during the pandemic, and it is continuing, it is food security which India needed because of job losses that
Maria,
happened. Priyanka Kakkar, no,
the
I think that there has to be a distinction between welfareism, food security, and what is populist. In most of the cases, it's populism that's playing out. Priyanka Kakkar, 30 seconds to you quickly.
Maria, Aam Aadmi Party has always been open to debates and discussions. And if you will see, our Honorable CM Arvind Kejriwal ji today also tweeted and said that there should perhaps be a cap on how much a state can spend from its capital. And I'm absolutely certain that we will be a part of this debate and discussion because that is how a welfare state is supposed to run.
All right. Priyanka Kakkar, Gaurav Pandey and Charu, thank you so much for joining us. We are slipping into a short break. Coming up would be Speaker Nancy Pelosi led the American charge against the dragon, showing solidarity with Taiwan despite the warnings from Beijing. All the details after the break.